Welcome.
Hi,
Welcome.
welcome back hey,
Hi.
hey, you're clammy, anywho. Hi,
I'm not a
everybody.
clam, I'm a shell.
Welcome back to
Shellfish.
Heredicality.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with.
Heredicality.
Like I said in the last episode, give it another couple recordings and it'll
Yeah.
be something totally different.
That's true. Yeah.
So how's your week been? You have a good time? Hi.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
What else? I feel like every week something incredible happens and something equally as incredibly bad happens.
Well,
Go ahead.
just really quick. Remember the anthem of our childhood, the song from Shrek by Smash Mouth?
Somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It perfectly embodies what's going on.
Okay.
My world's on fire. How about yours?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting because it's a good question. Like, my world's on fire, and you're in the same world as me. So how about yours?
It's also interesting too, especially in like. Let me backtrack a bit here and just talk about the absurdity of Shrek being an analogous to like modern day the climate, but it's also interesting too because he's literally an ogre in a swamp, and the whole plot device is like the modern world is fucking up his shit, and he's like, this is my land. And you're coming in here and you're telling me that I can't brush my teeth with a bug I just found in the ground? That I can't light my home with earwax candles that I make myself? Right?
Or have eyeball stew?
The entrepreneurial spirit is prevalent, and you know, it's wild to me that that we can draw on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I wouldn't say perfect, but definitely useful.
Isn't that what makes, like, I feel like almost specifically childhood movies so good? Where it's like there's some childhood shows where it's all about just teaching kids, like, basic stuff. Like, don't be a bad person.
Yeah.
Clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
You know, respect your parents, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the really good ones are you can watch as a kid and enjoy, and then watch as an adult and be like, holy shit, this is deep.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the place of like movies and film. That's like the place of stories in culture, I guess. They like teach the next generation lessons that they don't have to like learn the hard way. Like, don't touch a stove because it's hot. It's a lot easier to understand that after you've touched a stove.
Yeah, that was kind of my father's way of teaching me stuff. Where it's like, let him do it. If it burns his hand, he ain't gonna do it twice.
Yeah, like you've done your due diligence. Hey, don't do that. That's bad. And they're gonna say, why is it bad? And you're gonna say, well, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's, you know, it's relatable for any age group.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, you can keep being told what you're doing is dumb.
Yeah.
But it's not really gonna solidify until it happens.
it's a lived experience kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, I'm big on the safety aspect of my company right now. Like, I'm trying to fill that void of one, saying safety stuff, and two, enforcing safety stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got some guys who, like, won't wear their hard hats, for example. And it's like, hey, you know, put it on. Like, in passing, you're like, hey, you know, sometimes you forget. It's fine.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, fuck it. Let them get a serious head injury because they just won't wear it.
Yeah, I see, but it's, man, I don't know. I'm of two minds on this because on one hand, it's I'm assuming, but on one hand, it's like your position is to enforce the safety regulations. And then it's like, on the other hand, it's like, man, fuck these guys. They're just not doing what I tell them to do. And that's fine. But like, your job is not necessarily to like the people and have them like you. Your job is to make sure that they don't die.
Yeah.
And if it's like, fuck them anyway, like they're just not doing it, they're gonna die. It's like, that feels a little weird.
Oh no, it's
Feels a
horrible.
little weird, you know.
But it's kind of like I was saying, they won't really get how important it is
Yeah,
by me telling them.
yeah,
And I've learned that it has to be that person. Like, there can be incidents where somebody else gets hurt, but that still won't like drive it home for the
it'll
other
never
person.
happen to me though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that like teenage invincibility
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm never gonna fucking die.
Yep.
And then when someone your age dies, you're like, well, it ain't gonna be me.
Damn, that's crazy though. Like, that sucks though. Hi, Kat. How you doing?
Hello, cat.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean,
You want to pop up on the camera?
you want to say hi?
Get up here, you. Oh, there she is. Yeah, so I think last episode and these are our mystery topics. Mystery to you and not for us, obviously. Oh, hi-ya!
Whoa.
Aliens.
Current.
Current.
Okay.
I mean, aliens been going on for a long, long time, but I guess we'll talk about the current ones.
Sure.
Well, you know what? Are they current ones, or do you think that the aliens that have been spotted in the past, with air quotes,
Yeah.
have been spotted in the past, do you think they're the same aliens? I feel like it's an interesting
Yeah.
way to look at it, where it's like, oh, UFOs in the 70s, 60s, or like Roswell or something like that. Like, is it the same aliens? Or do we have other aliens popping by and be like, oh, yeah, those other ones are right. This place sucks.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's like a real answer here. My personal feelings on the matter. God, that face is crazy. Cat, Scripts and Kate Fat's like, ah! There's an alien right there. Whoa. No.
Just because you said that, it's really interesting when people will describe things that are on our planet as alien. Or like, oh, octopus, or it's like an alien species.
It's so alien.
Or like certain insects, it's like an alien.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're here.
Yeah,
Therefore,
yeah,
they
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
possibly be.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting because it's kind of like imagining a color that doesn't exist. Where
Okay.
if you were to fully imagine an alien species,
Yeah.
you can't,
Yeah.
because by definition, if it's alien, that it's something that you really couldn't imagine in the first place.
So, okay, I don't know. I think that's largely right in like a directional sense, but I don't know if I agree on a lot of those things like as you said them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a thing called convergent evolution, which is like everything turns out like looking kind of crab-like. You know what I mean? And that's just because crabs are particularly well suited for that particular ecosystem, that particular niche in the environment or whatever. Like, wings are a thing that birds have generated, that bats have generated, that bugs have generated, that fish have generated, that just fucking squirrels, to certain degrees. But
Yeah.
and that's just like that's because wings are really well suited to flying on Earth.
Yeah.
And so we can project out to other Earth-like systems with creatures that need to do things like get from point A to point B for whatever reason, right? Whatever alien motivations are driving them. Well, one of the ways that we know that they can do it is through wings. And so we can expect some type of alien species that is an air-faring whatever to have some type of wings. And those might not be wings that we've ever experienced before. On Earth, they might be like weird manta ray flappers or something crazy that
designed for just like an airplane.
Yeah.
That doesn't flap. It just
uses it harnesses the forces of its surroundings to propel itself.
That reminds me when you were doing like your pilot stuff years ago, and I remember because we were working at a coffee shop, and you're like, "How do you think a plane flies?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That's a good question."
How does a plane fly?
Because like
It flaps its wings real quick.
yeah, the common knowledge is like you think of birds. Birds fly, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Birds don't fly exactly the same as airplanes fly.
No,
So, like,
very differently.
it's always interesting when someone asks a very simple question
Yeah.
and you're like, I have no fucking idea.
What's a transistor?
Like,
It's on
yes.
every single
Does it help it
device.
fly? Sure, whatever.
It's on every single device, and your watch has transistors in it. Your phone does. Your microphone does. The camera does. What is a transistor?
Transistor radios. It's the only.
All right.
In my brain, that's the only thing that I know
It
about
takes-
transistors, that it linked with radios.
A DC, and
Correct,
makes
correct.
it AC.
And all the, okay, right. And that helps it defy physics and glide through the sky?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Good, that's what I thought.
Well, the way it does, so the way a plane flies is that its shape basically creates different levels of pressure. With the airflow over wings, where more air flows over the top than the bottom because of the way that the shape is.
Right.
And so what you get is pooling of air here and a flowing of air here. And so you have this kind of upward lifting force. We see it in nature all the time.
Yeah.
Tornado is a good example. Hurricanes, right? And so by just using that one little thing, hey, cool, if I make this flat, a little less flat and a little more humpy, and I make one side a little more tapered than the other, and I have two of these things, one on either side, all I have to do is go fast, and I go up. That's crazy.
To me, to dumb it down, it's like it's cutting through the air, and therefore it creates that kind of like pressure that keeps it stable when they're flying.
It's not so much that it's cutting through it. It's that it's like surfing on it.
Right.
And a bird gliding isn't so much how a plane glides. A bird gliding is that the surface area of all the wings and all the little feathers is so much that, in much the same way how like a water walker or a water glider can like stand on the surface tension of the water, so too do these kind of like glide on the surface, quote unquote, of the air as it cuts through, much like a piece of paper, right? How the weight of the paper isn't enough to displace the air beneath it.
Oh, okay.
And so it just kind of slips back and forth.
Right.
So,
Well, going back to the whole alien thing.
and real quick, all of that might be wrong. Okay?
Yeah, disclaimer.
All of that might not be correct.
Again, disclaimer. We're not professionals. We're just talking.
This is like vibe coding, okay? I'm just saying words that my brain goes, yeah, that might be correct. Here, let's see how it vibes.
I hope we have like professionals in the
Yeah.
professionals. If you don't know what you're talking about either, don't go to the comments, jackass.
We can know they don't know because they don't agree with us.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm saying is true, but I definitely know what you're saying isn't.
Yeah. See, transparency is really important.
So long as it's a mirror.
Like
okay?
if I'm talking about welding,
Yeah.
something I'm trained in,
Yeah.
then I'll have the confidence of like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If I don't, then I don't. Which is the same thing with people in comments where it's like, oh well, did you know? You don't know shit. You fucking internet
You're
intellectual.
no shit but hoes and tricks, bruh.
Bitches. Eh?
All right. Anyway, we were talking about aliens at the start. So that,
Yeah.
Well,
so to
Yeah.
in the response of what you were saying about aliens, because we got into the discussion of wings because
Right,
you
right,
have native, if you will, species of Earth that fly.
well, let me ask you another question though.
Yep.
In that same direction, what is it about people, humans, that allow us to manipulate our environment?
Intelligence? I don't know.
Yeah, probably. But
Jewels?
tools, but our intelligence lets us perceive an environment that we can affect. But think of it this way. If people were people in every single way except for the fact that they didn't have hands and they were bipedal, like a I'm thinking like a cow.
Sure.
So imagine a cow that's just as intelligent, quote unquote, in every single way. The mind experience is the same, except that they don't have hands.
They can't manipulate.
So they've never internalized they never internalized an active ability to manipulate their environment. Okay. Because of that, they don't actively search for ways to do that.
Well, I mean, I think, like I said, tools.
Right. But part of, real quick, just to finish the thought, part of the idea of tools to begin with relies on the perception that I can use something to affect something else.
And that's what I mean. If we didn't have hands, would we be able to want to use tools?
No, I don't think so.
Because if you think of, I mean, a perfect example is like you have apes, if you will. They have, thumbs and they can manipulate
Birds
and
do
make
it
tools
too.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Birds too, yeah.
Octopi.
And then, I feel like octopi have the equivalent of hands. They can manipulate very well.
In much the same way birds have feet.
But some intelligent species, like say like dolphins, and again they can manipulate stuff with their mouth.
Yeah.
But it's not as efficient as having 10 digits on your hands.
That's true. They also do it through and this is actually I haven't thought about this. This is an interesting reframing of what I was talking with the hands, because dolphins have echolocation. They have groups that they can communicate with over distances, and a lot of their hunting styles relate about that involve using the ecosystem. So like herding a bunch of fish into shallow like sandbars and then catching them because they just don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but
No.
but it's interesting because you'll see kind of similar parallels at kind of like an abstract level. Like, what is a tool? A tool is something other than my physical body I use to accomplish a goal.
Sure.
Cool. In that way, is a sandbar a tool?
Well, it's a very broad thing, just labeling things as tools. I think you could do tools and resources. So I think using the shallows of like a sandbar, that's a resource you can use.
Okay.
I feel like a tool is more of like a handheld thing. Like when you think of, there's a species of birds that, one of the way they feed is by getting like termites out of a termite hill.
They use
They
a
get
little
a stick,
yeah.
jam it in there, and then pull it out.
Yep.
Which, going even further, would it be a resource or a tool to describe something like a beak in some birds? Where
Tool.
some of them have specialized...
Tool. It's a tool.
So hands are tools as well in
They
this
can
kind
be.
of context.
Yeah. I think part of this is like a language issue, which is going to be a current theme
Yeah, that's...
with this.
Language is... It as much as it aids us, it fails us.
Well, because let me ask you a question. Like, are your teeth tools? They can be, right?
Yeah, I mean, they are. Like,
They could
you
be.
use them to
Do
grind
things.
up your food.
Sure. But also, like, you can use them to, like, open a can or break open a walnut seed or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a tool, but I don't think it's like I don't think it needs to be something else other, quote unquote, to be a tool. I think it's about how you use it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like a rock is a tool in the right context, and in most contexts, it's a rock.
So going back to what I was saying, resources and tools, I think I'll retract that because
Because it was a
tools
stupid
are
thing to say.
resources.
It was dumb.
How dare
It was
you?
a little silly.
Look, I'm okay with being dumb.
You're not.
All right?
It's not that you're dumb. It's that your interpretation of what you are experiencing is kind of stupid.
There's no dumb questions, just dumb people.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, if it's a dumb question,
I'll
the
drink to
implication
that.
is-
I'm not stupid.
I'm not dumb. I'm just learning intelligent things slowly.
But as a sidebar, I mean, it's very important to be openly dumb
Oh yeah.
because then you can progress through that. So for all you viewers out there, be stupid
Be dumb.
and then stop being stupid.
Exactly. Because like think of it in like an engineering lens, right? You don't get your experiments perfect every time, largely because you're actively trying to find ways to break it. Like video games do the same thing. You have testers whose entire job is to play the game wrong. Like that's so when you have ideas and you have concepts, it's super vital to remember that like, yeah, no, you're probably not right. And what you think your opinion is probably isn't even your actual opinion. You've just never sat down and investigated.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the big thing too.
And like, because it's all internal work. It's all mental landscapes. And like, you don't, listen, I'll put it this way. You have eyes to experience the world. So you can look over that hill yonder and figure out what the fuck's in that valley, right? But when you're inside your head, you have your awareness of self, right? There are still hills and valleys. There are still places that you cannot go to. But like, you know, if you never venture outside of your preconceived notions, that's the same thing as like never venturing outside of your home.
Yeah.
Like, I know exactly where every single thing in this house is because I never leave it. And it's like, I know exactly every single part of what my ideas are because I never challenge them.
Yeah.
And then you go outside and you're like, oh shit, what is that? Oh, it's a car. Boom.
Yeah.
And like in that same way, you have ideas where you're like, man, everybody knows that the best way of doing something is to do it proudly, pump your chest out, be confident, right? And then you're in a situation where actually you want to de-escalate the situation. But all you've ever known is escalation. Be big, be loud, be brash, and well, you're going to get yourself shot,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's why training is so important because if you just do one thing one way and it works that one way,
Yeah.
that means as soon as it deviates from that, you're fucked.
Exactly what you were saying, though, is that it also is really important to do one thing a certain way and know how to do it that way. Because in knowing how to do it that particular way, you discover ways of not doing that in that particular way. We kind of worded, kind of weird, but like I think I'm getting the point across.
Yeah, yeah.
You
At least to me. I don't know about them.
you try 1,000 times to build a light bulb. It works one time. You've learned 999 ways not to do it next time. And if you do fail each time in a new way, you learn way, way, way more than you ever would by getting it right on your first go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? Play that out societally. Just play that shit out societally. And, you know, you either end up with a culture that blooms into creativity, or you end up just being, you close the door into that sense of other, and it just becomes a broken mess of, like, the echo chambers and stuff.
That's the biggest problem with social media nowadays, where people will discover something that works in one way, and they're like, oh, so that's the way.
It's algorithms. Do you think aliens ever did that?
I
like a
would
great
like
forest.
to think,
Or the dark forest?
in the topic of aliens, because one of the theories is like, if there are alien species, which I think specifically when people talk about aliens, they talk about a race of beings that evolved or progressed so much on one planet that then they were able to travel to our
Planet,
/ another
yeah.
planet.
Yeah.
So aliens in that kind of train of thought would be similar to us, an intelligent species, technology-wise,
Likely
that
bipedal.
continue to progress and continue to evolve to a point that they're so intelligent that they can leave a planet and then explore other planets.
It's interesting because, like, that type of creature would need to have certain types of, like, ecological pressures
Yeah.
for there to ever get to the point where it's able. So, for example, like, you can have the most intelligent tree in the world, but it might not ever necessarily have a desire to, like, travel amongst the stars. You could have a living planet. The fuck does a living planet want to do traveling the universe? Like, I'm going to go look at other rocks that aren't alive. Cool. You want to go hang out with some corpses? Like, no. But,
Well,
I mean,
some people
it depends on
might.
the corpses, I guess.
But to what you were saying before, like, if alien species would go through the whole, like, social media thing, or
Yeah.
like that kind of highway of information, I think they would have, and it would be a setback, and then they would grow from it.
Probably.
And I say that because I think that's what we should do as a human species, because, like you say, the echo chambers and, like, tribalism,
I think you just
when
want...
they're kind of when they almost radicalize people
Yeah.
to shut out one point of view from their own, that is a non-starter for, like, progress. So it has to be an issue that causes other issues, then eventually you progress through it. Because I honestly feel like all this hate and all this misinformation and, like, doubt of just the opposition is stunting, like, intelligent and emotional progress.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with that. So much, yeah, right? So much of this is dependent on where you start from. And, like, your core foundations. Like, if you believe, right, that the universe is purely physical, that cause and effect are all that there is, and that we are what we perceive to be, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of weird, because, like, you end up with these weird questions of, like, if everything is a relation of what came before, then there has to be a beginning event. Okay, cool, we get religion. All right, but if everything comes from what came before, then there's likely going to be a final event. Okay, cool, we get the end of the universe. Everything is physical. Okay, cool, everything can be explained through physical phenomenon.
Yeah.
Cool. We cut open an atom, we see subatomic particles, gluon, quarks, up, down, weirds, whatever.
Is weird's an actual name? Or something?
It's weird. What do you want from me?
I love when scientists are just like, what the fuck? They're weirds. I don't know.
They're weirds.
I've had a long day.
You know, and then you get to, like, you go down far enough, and space time can be explained in like a two-dimensional circle. Like there's a single point. And then you go down further than that, and everything is not real. Everything is just a potential.
Well, being like physical beings, and the older I get, the more I subscribe to us being like a, what's the word? Not amalgamation, but
Composite?
it was in the Night Lord series.
Okay.
Where he is a something being. The word escapes me, but maybe it'll come to.
Like an amalgamation is like a collection of individual things. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then like merged together.
There's a word he used in the book. But I like to think that we are both physical beings and, for lack of a better term, spiritual. Like there's some aspect of us that is not tangible.
Sure.
Where, and we've talked about it before, where like basically the brain is almost like an antenna for your soul.
Okay.
So like the soul is intangible. I can't grab and manipulate and show like the individual aspects of my soul or my intelligence. Like there are regions of the brain that light up.
Yeah. Sure.
That's the physical aspect of it. But I like to think that we are more than just the physical aspect of this universe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't as far-fetched when you think about some things that are, well, isn't a great example, but I think intangible, like air, right? You can't see it. You can't
That's a
feel
bad example.
It is. Because you can,
Yeah.
it's a measurable
How about
thing.
like an emotion?
Yes, perfect.
Where it's like you walk into a room and you're just hit with like this essence of like, if you go into like a sports bar and the team's winning, you're like walk in and everybody is hype, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's intangible, but it's real. It's super real.
Exactly. So why wouldn't it be possible to have an aspect of the world around us that isn't like quantifiable when you're measuring or analyzing?
It's not unreasonable, but it's well, actually, I should say it is by definition unreasonable because it's not. You can't reason it. Well, like it's unknowable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's unlikely, and But I also don't think that everything that is reasonable is like it's reasonable to assume that because the universe has existed today and it has existed yesterday, that it will exist tomorrow.
Right.
But that might not be the case. But it's totally reasonable. Like,
well, to the beginning of that, wouldn't it be understandable if it's not reasonable today?
Yeah.
Because as like a...
That's two different things, though.
Yeah, but I'm thinking something thousands of years ago.
Okay.
Where it's like polytheism, the god of this and that. Like
Sure.
that was used to explain something that we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually we began to know things.
Yeah.
So couldn't it be possible that in the future, I don't know through what means, but we could prove that there is a soul, that there is a afterlife, if you will.
I think so. I mean, think of what they've been doing recently with like the psychedelic experiments, where you can have something like a psychedelic trip, and you end up somewhere. And I don't mean that like as a play of words. I mean like you experience a different type of landscape that you can navigate, and is consistent. That's weird. Because, like, you think that they're hallucinations. They're just, like, your brain is making shit up. But, okay, the stuff you're making up, though, is consistent across people. Yeah. So, like, are you saying that I'm making shit up that your brain is also picking up on somehow and making it up at the same time without me talking to you? Like, okay, that's not reasonable.
Yeah.
Right? You can explain it, but your explanation doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's a good... like segue back into the whole alien thing.
Yeah.
Where as far as like drugs, like those kinds of experiences and, hallucinations and whatnot, and then like the actual reality of what we deal with. What drug is it where there's a trip, and I have a little issue with this, but there's a trip that is kind of like constant through all other trips. where like you're transported to another
Oh,
like plane of existence.
that's I think it's the long long exposure like DMT
Yeah,
experiments that they're
DMT.
doing. Yeah.
We're like, I'm not too well versed in this subject, but like people who have a DMT trip all meet like these specific beings.
They report they come back telling stories that are like consistent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is almost kind of like proof, if you will, that there is another level above just like the physical aspect of being human.
Yeah.
That, again, like aliens, and I guess using that term specifically, where it doesn't have to be aliens from another planet, it could be aliens from a different, like, plane of existence. If you
Yeah,
will.
yeah. Which I would probably say is more likely.
Yeah, yeah. Because when you think about the physical aspect of it, you have to account for them, like, not defying, but like affecting physics in a way to travel over great distances of the nothingness of space.
Yeah, but there's also like weird things that happen with space and time in general. Like they're emergent from a like an underlying structure that we're only like just kind of working with. We don't really know a ton about this kind of stuff, but like there's no reason to assume that distance is the same for everybody. That like there's no reason to assume that from a separate vantage point, I might take one step and travel 1,000 miles. Purely through the relationship between my experience of the space I'm in and the external experience of the space I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, if we were to use this in a different language, there a different way of speaking, I should say. You can compress time through velocity and speed, like Interstellar, right?
Yeah.
Where they went down to a planet, and you know the gravity well of that planet was so significant that it was going at relativistic speeds, when in ratio to the ship in orbit. And so in orbit they experienced 20 years. On the surface of the planet they experienced like an hour, right? And that what you're so in this example, I'm using time as the medium that is being like surpassed, is skipping.
Right.
But there's no reason not to think that the opposite can't be true, where you're using your experience of time is compressing your experience of distance, and this is probably what a photon experiences, where it is everywhere at the same time, but it itself is experiencing it like let me backtrack. It is everywhere, but it experiences a single point, like a single moment.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were outside of that photon's like imagined perception of itself, you see it as a single photon bouncing over time, going everywhere one moment at a time.
Yeah.
But so it's like I experience internally a single instant of time, but I am experienced externally everywhere.
Right.
And then the inverse is true, where I'm experienced at a single moment in space, but I exist for all time.
Now, is this kind of like in the realm of quantum physics?
I don't know enough about quantum stuff to talk about it without feeling silly talking about it.
Well, I mean, like, is that the idea of that, like, part of
Maybe.
physics?
Maybe. I think that's more like informational stuff, though. Quantum stuff is like,
Because I don't know either. It's just when I hear
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, I'm like, isn't that
It's-
that realm of study?
I think it is, but it's a little weird. Like, quantum stuff is all kind of strange. Like, the chances of something happening. I don't know enough about this to talk about this, but what I suspect to be true is that quantum phenomena measure where a certain thing is at a certain place.
Right.
And what they are trying to do is quantize all of the certain things that they could measure at a certain point.
Isn't the whole idea like it is several things until you observe it, and then it is that one thing?
Yeah, but this part's a little this part isn't always really well understood because it isn't necessarily that it's one or the other. It's one and the other.
Okay.
Like it's one and
Yeah,
two.
yeah. It's not like it doesn't become less of a thing because you absorb it. It just becomes that one thing as well as everything else.
No, it's, and again, not an expert, but I think it's more like I have a box and you have a box.
One has a
And
cat, one doesn't.
One has a cat, one has a cat, one doesn't. And that that inside of our boxes is a switch, and those switches are toggled to each other. So they're, when you push this one this way, this one goes this way. And when I push this one this way goes that way. Or vice versa. It doesn't matter. The point is that it's on or off, and if you push this one switches to the other position as well.
Right.
And they're opposite. So this is on, this is off. This is on, this is off. This is off, this is on. So, and in that way, you can have a box, and I can have a box, and I open my lid, and my lid says it's on. And you can then go, oh, well, I know without looking that this is also on. And also, for somehow, if you were to take your on and turn it off, then mine would also switch at the same time, regardless of the space between these two boxes.
Right.
What that tells us is that these two things are attached to some type of higher order object that experiences this lower dimension from a vantage point where the space from here to here is irrelevant, in much the same way that you can have a super complicated like diagram on a map, but look at the map sideways and you experience a single line of ink. You lose all that texture, you lose all that detail, but only because you're looking at it from that specific vantage point in relation to the dimensionality of the actual ink itself.
Gotcha.
Really? Because that's a really confusing thing.
I get the gist of it.
Okay, yeah.
Where
And this all might be wrong.
Feel free to correct us.
Yeah.
But this is a perfect example of, like I was saying before, there are ways to disprove the presence of aliens using that kind of knowledge that we've learned. Where it's like, well, they couldn't have possibly, like, with all the information that we do have, I'm sure some experts will say, well, they couldn't possibly have traveled a distance in space to make it to us.
Sure.
But that doesn't disprove the it doesn't disprove the possibility that there could be alien species, like intelligent species that are not native to this either plane or planet, through avenues that we know nothing about.
Yes. Like think of just an arc, right? You have like a point here goes to here, right? This travels this amount of this. I'll go this way so the camera can see. This goes from point A to point B, right? But if I just go straight instead, right? This distance is so much less than this distance. And I'm going to use gravity here because it's vague and people don't know enough about it to disprove me wrong, bitch. So we're in a gravity well, so we're going to go like this from point A to point B. And to us, we're going straight.
Right.
But when you actually measure it, it goes like this. I don't see why there can't be a civilization that has understood like topology to an extent where they see this structure, but they also can see like the left-hand rule. So they see like the paper as it is flat, but they also see the paper as it is sideways. And so they can kind of like repivot their perspective where these 2 points shift and become 1 point.
Right.
Right? Shift and become 1 point. And so instead of having to go this entire distance, they have to go this distance. Right?
Right.
And that might be a thing that they travel through time this way. That might be a thing they travel through space this way. It's hard to say. We don't know. This is all crazy person talking.
And you don't know, maybe the next couple hundred years, we would then learn enough to be able to do that exact, like proof of, like, I'm sure in the scientifical not physician, what's a scientist that does physics?
A physicist.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are physicists who have a proof of concept that has not been able to be like executed. Or it's like, oh, we could do this, we just don't have the technology or the know-how.
Material physics, yeah.
In a couple hundred years, especially in the way that technology has been advancing, give it 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we figured it out.
Like part of it, it's weird too, because like there are ideas that talk about like asymmetrical surface tension. So like you have a ball, and there's a ton of like compressive force, like the surface of like you ever like air seal, like vacuum seal something?
Yeah.
Okay. So think of like you vacuum seal a steel ball, but for however way you do it, there's like one point that doesn't really get sucked.
There's one point that just
Doesn't
get the suck.
and that's probably like where the power is being fed, right?
Sure.
But the rest of like the shell is under extreme like oppositional force.
Uh-huh.
And if you flip that, where all of a sudden this side becomes the one that is under the pressure and this side becomes the one that has no pressure, just like how a plane will start to lift off, this motion itself just sends the thing flying.
Sure.
Okay. So if you do that using fields, you can generate force through nothing but the rhythmic pulsing of these compressions. Okay. Well, if you have something like an orb that you see in the sky that you can't explain because it's not flying, it's got no wings, there's no thrust, and it's like kind of pulsating, kind of funky. Well, shit. There you go. And, you know, from my perspective, I can say something like that and go, great, now I have to go and prove it wrong. And that's kind of how we started with this whole thing, where I can see a world where this makes sense as a technology. I see a phenomenon that I can explain through this interpretation of technology. I have to disprove that now. Because, and if I can't, I have to find a different way of disproving it. That's the scientific method. You don't try to validate what you're experiencing. You're trying to disprove yourself as rigorously as you can, because it is only through proving everything, it's only by validating that it can't be wrong in this way that you can trust it.
Right.
Just like you have to run into a wall in a game 1,000 times so that you know that the players aren't going to be able to jump past your boss or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's complicated, but
Yeah, but it's crazy because we are at the point where we could start putting science behind those kind of theories. Like you're saying, like we've been throwing so much stuff at these theories of aliens and how they, you know, would be able to exist, or like explaining like UFOs and stuff like that. We've been throwing so much stuff at the wall that, you know, decades and decades later, some of that shit's starting to stick now.
yeah.
Like if you tried to explain the whole, and I know you know the specifics better than me, but what do they call it? It wasn't the bean. It was like,
Bean.
well, there was like a specific UFO.
The Tic Tac.
Is it a Tic Tac?
Yeah.
So, if you tried, and that was what, in the 70s? Where it, yeah, the bean. I was thinking of the fucking Chicago bean.
No, the Tic Tac I think is 2004.
Oh, really? I thought it was later than that.
No. I mean, things have happened in the 70s, but they weren't called the Tic Tac.
Well, so to just forget about the Tic Tac, but stuff that happened in the 70s,
Like,
where like there are documents and like people were there, and like I think in the recent couple of years, those kind of things back in the 70s are being declassified.
yeah. I mean, there's a thing called like the Rendlesham Forest event, which was in Britain. There was a UFO landed like in between two military bases, one of which was like a nuclear facility, and some dude walked up to it and got like, you would actually appreciate this story. He walked up to it and was like, there are symbols on here. He wrote them down. He like went up and he touched it, and like he got really, really bad sunburn, and he went to the doctor and he was like, yo, I got really bad, like what's going on? I'm fucked up. And he takes a look, and like his eyes are all swollen shut, and the guy's like, it's like, this looks like you stood and you were like staring into a welder's torch for like half an hour to get this level of damage. Like what were you doing? And he's like, I walked up to a metal craft, and I touched it, and then it flew away, and now I started bleeding blood from my eyeballs. Help.
My blood's hot.
I don't feel so good. And he didn't. And he was fucked up because he had to fight for years and years and years just to get like health coverage.
Was
because
this,
the military was denying it.
Was it like radioactivity? that happened to them?
They suspect it, yeah, because again, if these are high energy vehicles, they're like I was talking about with like the whole thing before with the energetic fields. These are, they might potentially give off radiation.
Yeah.
Just so happens that when you measure the location that these things are often seen, that environment is irradiated, like by a lot.
So 2 points with that.
Yeah.
One, my original is that stuff that happened back then, where they probably either couldn't or had a hard time explaining it through like concrete science. Nowadays, they can.
Yeah.
So like that's the kind of stuff where if aliens were really far-fetched back then, now that we've caught up to the science, now it's like, oh, that's much more reasonable.
We can go ahead. Do you think?
And just because if I don't,
Just do it. Just do it.
fucking
Just do it.
forget it. And the second part of that is going back to where we started with this conversation at the beginning of the episode. Alien species would be so hard to actually imagine because us as humans, the only thing we have to draw from are our domestic, if you will, experiences of being these type of carbon life forms living on this specific solar system on this specific planet.
Yeah.
Where there could be alien species where they're like, oh, you guys can't like put up with radioactivity? That's like our whole thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother us at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Like if you were an alien species and you just come to Earth for the first time and you're looking at like our planet, is it immediately obvious that we humans are, we like to think of ourselves as the ones in charge? Is that obvious? Do they see vehicles the same way that they might see like animals? And do they then think that like we are like some subservient creature to like a car or a truck? Do they see like a pet, for example, where humans come and they give them food and they give them safety and they give them shelter? Like, do they? Like, how do they interpret it?
Them? Yeah.
Do they interpret that in the same way that they might interpret like ants and aphids? Like on plants, where ants will farm aphids, like literally. Maybe. But the other thing that I think is so interesting too is like, we think that we're so special, right? We're so special. We're humans. We're smart. We do things with stuff. But like, you go out and you get like a bee, a fucking honey bee will go to a tree, go to a flower, get its pollen, wiggle its little butt, come on back, give it back to the hive, and be like, yo, look at all this stuff I just did. I'm like, that sounds like a corporation. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds like a city we're talking about here. Like, we think that we're so special. No. You're just a slime mold that's operating on a global scale. Like watching cities develop is like watching a slime mold look for food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we think that we're so like broken away from the natural cycles of nature. But like, no, we've just established a niche that just happens to be so niche that we've been able to like take over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly because I don't think we did it in a good job. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's the thing. You go back to the whole, nobody's perfect. Like, to be human is to have flaws. So then how could we ever possibly say that we are like the apex species on this planet when we make so many bad choices?
Well, I think it's because we have the ability to choose.
And we have the ability to analyze.
I think that's part of the ability to choose.
Yeah.
But also like maybe not obviously.
Well, it comes with that like higher realm of like thinking, like intelligence.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like shooting ourselves in the foot because we think we are so above. Like I think like a good example, which is not really on par with what we've been talking about, but we think we're so smart, therefore we're above like nature, for example.
Yeah.
But that is our like folly right there. We'll be like, oh, we're so smart, like we've conquered nature. It's like, oh, you're not smart enough to realize that you couldn't possibly conquer nature.
Yeah. You're so dumb. You're so dumb that the only reason tens of thousands of people survived an earthquake is because the fucking elephants broke free of their iron shackles and was like, man, fuck this, I'm out of here. A couple hours later, one of the worst tsunamis in that area ever strikes, hits. Literally tens of thousands of people saved because some fucking elephants were like,
We gotta get the fuck out of here.
this ain't it, chief. This ain't gonna go well. Sure as shit didn't,
Yeah.
Yeah, so fuck, I don't know, but it's the other thing to remember too, specifically with people, is that like people, we are just animals. We are just animals. The average person has an IQ of 100 people of 100. Say what you will about IQ as a way of measuring intelligence. It's flawed. It's awful. It's not good. But you know, on the high and low ends, it's really nice to have some type of reference point because I could say to you, for example, that the smartest person ever lived was above an IQ of 200. Okay, what does that mean when your average is 100? Oh, he's twice as smart because 100 plus 100 equals 200. No, 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 no. It's you can't even comprehend it. Okay, like it's incomprehensible. Much the same way that like a language is incomprehensible if you don't know how to speak it. Like if you don't know how to think intelligently, you don't know how to think. You don't know how to. If you don't know how to, how about this? If you don't know how to speak English, and who does, honestly, it's fucking garbage language. If you don't know how to speak English, then anything that you hear in English is just jumbled nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay. And you might be able to pick up like some undertones. Like you don't necessarily need to know English language to pick up on like the tone of voice or the body language.
Right.
Right. But all of that is just to say that if you're an average IQ of 100 person talking to somebody who's an IQ of 200, just to be, you know, make this comparative so much, you're going to look at that person talking to you, the 100 to the 200. The 100 person is going to look at the 200 person talking to them as if that's in a different language. And they'll be able to pick up things like body language, vocal cues, you know, facial expressions. And so they'll be able to have some level of communication on this side. On this side, any fucking thing that this person is going to say is known before the conversation starts, before they've even met the person, right? Because this entire individual's contribution to that conversation is totally encapsulated by this person's understanding of the conversation.
Right.
Which isn't to say that this person is going to never be confused or shocked or startled or whatever, but it's not going to be a result of this person doing something that this person hasn't thought of. Okay, I'll put it to a different way. Or I've thought of a better example. There's a saying where the number one swordsman in the world doesn't fear the number two. He fears the farmer that's never picked up a blade in his life. Because the guy who's picked up a sword for the first time is going to use it in ways that the professional has never even thought of. Because who would think to use a sword like a scythe or like a hammer?
The Jackie Chan movie is like The Drunk Master or
The
something
Drunken
like that.
Master. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, he's not even functioning on the same plane as me right now.
Yeah, and because he's operating from a totally different baseline, right? It's not I need to plant my feet, to rigid my form, to punch, and to drive through the earth, the force that I'm invoking. It's, I'm going to leverage the dynamic movement of my body as a whole, in concert with yours, to accomplish the exact same finish result. But it's applied totally differently.
Yeah.
So anyway. So keep that in mind, right? Where we are a species of farmers swinging swords, effectively, at the swordsmen who have trained their entire life for one thing to fight. And now he's like, I'm just one dude with my little sword, and I can do 1,000 perfect like sword strikes. But that, you know, for each perfect sword strike, I have 10,000 people swinging at me. In like just some of them are throwing their fucking swords, like you know what I mean.
That's not part of the rules. You can't do that.
That's not part of the rules. But the thing is that there were never any rules. Rules are the illusion.
Yeah. That's kind of like during the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Where, and maybe this is incorrect because I learned this when we were in like middle school. And the British would move in like a formation. They'd have like a drum and like left, you know, and then you had the guerrilla warfare of the Americans.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we would have won if you played by the rules.
You can't do that. You can't poison our entire army with the water supplies, and then while we're all shitting our pants overnight, attack us with bombs and fire and sleep, and I think that's fucked up. You
It's
can't
like
do that.
when Washington went over the, was it Delaware River?
Yeah, well, Washington was a freak.
Oh, he was a,
Like he's a dumb, he was a fucking monster.
I don't know if you watched it too, but Shane
I know. Yeah,
Gillis.
Gillis, I think.
He was talking
Ah,
about just
across the river.
a 6 foot something
Yep.
fucking man with horse teeth
Redheaded.
dentures.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah. Oh, look, no sane person would go over this frozen river and attack us on Christmas.
That's
He's like,
cool.
no, go!
We gotta get him. And you know what? It works.
So I think in this analogy, we would be the Washingtons, and then the aliens would be the British, where it's like
Other way around.
Other way?
Yeah, yeah.
So we are. Yeah, no, I could see it. So we're the ones who are like, well, they wouldn't possibly do this
Exactly.
right now.
You're trying to tell me that an alien civilization first would be able to cross light years and second would want to? That's ridiculous. And I agree. That is ridiculous. But if we operate from a different baseline function, which is that this physical world that we all inhabit is a result of internal processes. So mind or matter is mental instead of mental is matter. Yeah, I think that works. Then the idea that there are other minds that are able to perceive the world, and in that perception of the world give rise to reality, and this kind of touches on that quantum stuff I was hedging away from earlier. But if your understanding of what is real is a result of what you experience, and you acknowledge that all experiences are shaped by your experiencer, right? We experience things the way we do because we are who we are.
Experiencer.
Yeah. So, like, for example, I have two people. Okay. One of them knows how to read. The other one doesn't. Okay. And they both are standing in front of a wall with some markings on the wall. One of them knows what those markings say. It says, "Do not open, dead inside." Right?
Do not dead open.
Yeah, exactly. The other one doesn't know how to read. Okay. So one of them looks at the wall and says, "Holy shit. What the fuck are they trying to say there?" That's, oh, I get it. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Later, I'm out. The other guy goes, "People, it looks like people did that. There must be people inside," right? Two totally different interpretations of the exact same stimulus, which is a wall with some stuff on it. In that way, yeah, I think that we're totally blinded by our... So, okay, let me back up. In that way, we are bound by our limitations. And so if I don't know how to read, in much the same way that I can't necessarily feel a magnetic pole like a bird can, right? And there's some arguments that people can, that we've just lost that trait or whatever. But if I can't feel that magnetic pole, and in the same way that I don't know how to read, somebody that can feel that magnetic pole might be able to navigate the world in a totally different way than I. Right. And I wouldn't even be able to understand what that means. Like, I can't even conceive of, north is that way. How do you know?
I just know.
I just know. Look, that color is blue. How do you know? I look at it and I see blue. Like, and if I just don't have eyes, I wouldn't even be able to understand what blue is. Yeah. Until I open them. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Well, you touched on it, and I'm going to expand on the whole, and I had this thought earlier. So you have, it's almost like we're the aliens now because of the way we think and, like, maneuver through reality as opposed to just animals. Because as you were touching on, and there's a possibility that we lost that ability.
Sure.
But there are animals who, now that I'm thinking about it, they don't think. They just act. Where I feel like humans might be blinded by all the thought we put into stuff. It's similar to, like, you ever go through life and you're, like, overthinking everything, and then you're stressed out?
Nope, not me, never.
Well, you know what? Us normal folk.
I don't think.
I don't think, I just fucking do.
I don't think.
Alpha male shit.
I thought.
I thought, therefore I was.
I don't think, I thought. That's all I got.
But it's similar to that where, like, you overthink. Now you're making a problem
Yeah.
just because you're thinking too much.
You're building this internal landscape that does not reflect reality.
So if you take a person, and I mean there are multiple instances of it throughout history, like
Yeah.
these weird.
No, forget weird. It's just flow state. You take away your active thinking, and you end up in flow state.
Yeah. So I remember learning about in school a little girl who, I don't think they ever learned her background, but, and I forget where it was. I don't believe it was in the States, but regardless,
The wild child,
I think, yeah,
where she was
where like they discovered this girl who is feral,
yeah,
and then they like
she was in a basement.
more or less studied them.
She was in a basement, and I don't think that she was ever taught how to like talk or read or think.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm thinking of a different one, but
A child,
I do know that one where
yeah,
the father just chained her up.
a child called It. I think it was a book. And there are a couple of examples, so this might not necessarily.
Well, that's what I mean. There's so many instances that
It's
you
fucked
can pull
up.
from
Fucked up.
where they.
But yeah, they're wild.
And then us as people are like, oh, we have to like reacclimate her to society.
Doesn't happen, by the way.
But if you could,
Doesn't happen.
it's weird, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword, where if you get someone who's feral, it would be interesting to ask them the differences between a non-feral and a feral person, but you can't because they're feral.
Yeah.
Therefore, they might never be able to fully explain the differences between their life and my life.
Well, they'll never be able to realize it. I mean, I don't think anybody ever really can. I don't think anybody can really understand the differences. Like I can say, "Oh, damn, dude, I stubbed my toe. You stub your toe. Sucks. I've stepped on Lego bricks before. You've stepped on Lego bricks before. There isn't any worse pain in the universe."
But I love pain, and you don't like it.
And something as simple as that can totally be.
It skews everything.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it would be so valuable to take a person who doesn't, heavy air quotes, think.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, this is the pure animalistic version of a human. To kind of prove if we have these magnetic senses. So like, for example, salmon. And that's it for the episode. Okay, we're done. Just like, for example, salmon. All right, we'll touch on that next week. No,
What?
exactly. Salmon.
Okay. I know. I get where you're going with this. They are able to use their senses to find the streams where they gave their own spawn with, and they go back into it. I get where you're going.
Well, yeah,
with
they
this.
go out into like
the ocean.
the ocean, and then somehow, and like you watch all the like nature
magnetic
documentaries.
fields, yeah.
They're like, we don't know how they do it, but they do.
It's their brain juice. Magnet stuff goes burr.
And that's a lot of animals. And there's a difference between that
Turtles do it too.
and then there's some things that animals have that we don't. Like a shark can sense like electro impulses or pulses, whatever.
It's like-
but they
yeah.
have an organ for that.
Yep.
But if you take other
Some
animals that don't have necessarily like a functioning part of the biology
Yeah.
to sense these things,
Yep.
they just do it. Why couldn't we, as products of nature, also do the same thing?
Well, we can first of all.
We can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you think we've kind of lost it? Because
I think that it's we don't do it, but we can learn how to.
Can we relearn it though?
Yeah. Like you can. So like for example.
Does that make it like harder to do it if we had to relearn it, as opposed
Are
to
you
just...
born knowing how to sing?
Yes,
Are you? Or are you born knowing how to scream?
I think I'm born knowing how to replicate sounds.
You think you're born knowing how to do that?
I think it's within your ability.
But that's different though. Being able to do something eventually after you learn how is different than being able to do it, knowing how to do it from the start. Like a deer.
Well, then are we born to be able to do anything?
Yeah.
Because isn't everything
Instinct.
learned after that point?
Instinct. No.
Instinct.
Like a horse, right? A fowl. Fawn. Fowl? Fowl's bird. Fawn. Foal.
Yeah.
Deer. Fawn's deer. Foal's.
Fawns, their foal is a baby.
Too many
horse.
F words.
Fuck.
Anyway. Fuck these phony,
Fuck these phony foul fawns.
foul bird. Anyway, the point though is that like they pop out, they stand right the fuck up. They're born knowing how to run.
Yeah.
People, humans, babies, you are born knowing how to swim. right?
I would love
Tread
to see
water.
that experiment being
Done. Yeah. Well, they got water births. It happens every time. They go, ah!
Plus,
Right?
don't they just? Well, can they swim or do they float?
They tread water.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then we lose that a bit. Like,
Yeah, we do. And much the same way where like, if you have a newborn baby and you like kind of rub at their little cheek, they turn their head because to them, yeah, exactly, titty, milk, food, hung, right? But like that goes away eventually.
right,
You are born recognizing a snake, right? No one sits you down and says when you're walking through the leaves and you see this slight coloration and this slight curving pattern, that to stop what you're doing and go, your brain just knows that's a snake.
right,
You know, so yeah, I think that people can do that, and so also, you're born with the capability of knowing where the magnetic pole is, and that's just because of the way that your brain works. Like we are we're chemical based magnetic electric creatures. Okay, like chemical energy, chemical electricity,
right,
biochemistry, right? But we also operate within a planetary-sized magnetic field that operates within a solar system-sized magnetic field that operates within a galaxy-sized field. So we're kind of like Russian nesting dolls,
right.
and we're like halfway in the middle. So we're like a nesting doll that is half broken out and then half still kind of condensed.
Yeah,
So we can zoom in further and further. We get like individual organs. We go further down. You get individual types of like tissue. You go further down, individual proteins, individuals like so whatever. Does that kind of answer your question, or am I just rambling?
yes and no.
Little both. Little both.
Covered both sides.
Yeah.
But then it's so as far as Alien goes, and we're talking about humans and like how we function and like certain things that we are attuned to, whether we're born with it or not.
Yeah.
We have that capacity to do so. There are also theories that we, as I guess Homo sapiens, have been like tweaked by aliens,
Yeah.
or there's been like interspecial breeding. So, not that I subscribe to this, but as far as aliens goes, one of the theories is that we are also part alien. So the reason, like I was saying before, on planet Earth, humans are almost like the outlier,
Yeah.
where maybe intelligent aliens came down and then bred with native species and then left, thus resulting in humans.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like holy shit far-fetched, or
I don't think it's holy shit far-fetched. We're pretty good at tracing back like our genetic history through time.
Yeah.
And I don't think there are, and I might be wrong with this, but I don't think there are a ton of times where totally new and novel genetic material enters into our like genome.
Right. Yeah, nothing like that can't be explained.
Like like our DNA is double helix. I'm pretty comfortable saying that we've never been like, at this point in time, 60,000 years ago, a quadruple helix DNA strand entered and caused these mutations. That might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's not wrong. But to enter more to your point, you end up with things like the mitochondria, which are
Powerhouse of the cell. Right,
well, they're
right.
also aliens in the sense that they're not an original part of our organism, right? They are they're not parasites. They are what am I thinking of?
I have no fucking idea.
It's not. It's like you have asymmetry where party A is benefiting off of party B, and there's no give back.
Symbiosis.
There you go. Yeah. Yes. So there's the mitochondria are symbiotic with humans.
Right.
Same thing as like our gut biomes. So really, you can think of a human being as three living entities merged in one. You've got like your neural, you've got like your gut, your fungal. Fungal? What am I thinking? Not fungal. It's like fungal.
I've no.
Ah man, it's what they call the fungus when it's like all in the earth or whatever, and it's all spread out.
No clue.
Yeah.
I get the gist of what you're saying, but as far as the vocabulary goes,
Mitosilin, whatever. And then you also have your like individual organelle composites.
right.
Whatever. Again, not a scientist. This is just me talking out loud. But the point, though, was that so even in something as simple as like I am, you are actually a composite of multiple different types of things that are all kind of working together. Like you are what you eat. It's kind of like tongue in cheek a joke. It's also very much the case.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like your day to day experience is gonna be pretty heavily decided on a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't really think about.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show the complexity of like just being this animal,
Right.
where like there's so many moving parts,
Yeah, and
that
so
you can't know.
right. Well, and so exactly to that point, I think that if an alien civilization, quote unquote, like the Anunnaki or whatever, came down to harness gold and used the humans that were really just a bunch of like hippy dippy tree people at the time to work in mines, and they did so through like some type of cultural program or something, I could see that being the case.
Less interbreeding and more just like external.
Yeah. And all of this is just to say that it doesn't have to be genetic engineering that leaves fingerprints. It could be something super, super novel, things
Right.
that we just can't even think of. Like, hey, we're going to vibrate certain tones at certain intensities at certain parts of the day to train you to have a specifically timed sleep cycle.
I think a fun thought experiment, as far as this topic, like how aliens could / would have pressured humans in a way, like using the fungus to kind of like spark that kind of behavior you were talking about.
I'm slow blinking at the cat.
Why are you staring people down?
You're so grumpy. Am I talking too much truth?
But it's an interesting thought experiment to what would yield a higher like level of servitude, if you will.
Yeah.
Because like with those aliens coming down, they wanted gold, therefore they kind of manipulated people to do that for them.
Sure.
Would it be better for an alien species to kind of manipulate us physically, so far as like chemically or using fungus or stuff like that? Or
Just examples. I don't think
Yeah,
any of
yeah,
that
no, I
actually
know.
happened.
Or would it be more fruitful for the aliens to take advantage of how civilized people will act? So, for an example, they could either come down, bring this fungus that kind of initiates this thing to make them, as far as biochemically, they could do stuff like that.
A lot of big words, not words we know anything about.
Or they could come down and be like, oh, we found this like semi-primitive intelligent species who venerates power, if you will. Therefore, if we come down there with a higher level of power, they'll become subservient to us.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be that could be an episode in and of itself, and you could just take human. So like if humans started become spacefaring, which we fucking better at some point in my life because I'm tired of this planet and these issues. That's totally unrelated, but
Yeah.
you could take the examples like if people saddled up today, went out into space, and discovered a possible resource management race of intelligent beings.
Sure.
Would we use the power of science that we have now to spread spores into their atmosphere,
No.
thus triggering something? Or would we go down there and be like, oh, if we go down there with a shotgun and blow someone's head off,
We would
we're
do that.
gods to them.
We would do that because people are stupid. We're dumb apes.
We also, but that's how, like there's that. I remember there was a Kurzgesagt video talking about if aliens were out there, they would either be alien A or alien B. One that, like us, evolved so much because we just decimated the opposition, or the other one that progressed so much because they were like a unifying kind of species.
Yeah.
We're definitely type A.
We're definitely type A. And I would think there's probably more than just those two types.
Oh, absolutely.
But what do I know?
But again, like I was saying before, that's how we think.
Yeah.
Therefore, we come to two like options to begin with. But like, if we actually found an alien species that are truly alien, we couldn't be like, oh, it's either A, B, and C. It's like, no, it's D, none of the above, because
Yeah.
they are truly an alien.
You can't even comprehend what their motivational factors are.
Exactly.
Like it's difficult. Like we're gonna talk about part of this too is like the framing of the whole conversation. My opinion of what as and so in this kind of ridiculous scenario, I would say they're not going to drop people. They're not going to put troops on the planet. They're not going to drop fungal spores. They're not going to do any of that. They're going to manipulate your perceptions.
The algorithm.
The algorithm. And if you so, a couple of base assumptions. If you're a species that can travel the universe, you're probably pretty good at shaping the universe around you. And by that I mean like I want to get from point A to point B. I can like travel the distance or I can travel the space. Right? Yeah, exactly. And so if I'm able to travel the space, then I'm probably able to interact with space in a way that I can't really understand as a human.
Yeah.
And so, then everything that we've ever experienced is just kind of thrown out the window because how do you even wrap your head around that kind of like like our brains are like meat chemical vats, right? But if your brain was able to be made out of like a to use like photons, right? Like light. So like a computer chip that uses light instead of electrical currents. What would a thought be like? Like how would you experience distance if you could interpret at the speed of light? Like is there even a notion of distance? Or is it what is that even? And the other super kind of in the same line of thinking. We think that we live in the present, but what we really do is we're reacting to stimuli that happened almost as far as a second in the past. So we're making predictions about the world that we're living in, and we're playing out those predictions. But the actual time, quote unquote, that we're operating in has passed. So, and to play that into the whole thinking at the speed of light thing, would you experience time in the same way that we experience time? And probably not, right?
No.
Like, because you could fit an eternity into a single instant. But literally though.
Yeah. I mean, there's a common thought. Well, everybody asks themselves or people around them were like, would you want to be immortal?
Yes.
And I think that's a good point to touch on because with our brain that we have now, when we think about that, we're like, oh my God, no, that sounds horrible.
No, I want to be immortal.
I mean, me too.
Yeah.
I don't like, people are like, oh, but everyone you love is like die and like, no, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I was always surprised, but like a lot of people will say, no, I don't want to live forever.
Yeah.
But if we had the ability to think differently, the vast majority of people be like, oh, of course I want to be immortal.
Yeah.
But that might be like a pitfall for people, just the way we think and function now, where we can't think about something so unnatural to us as not dying.
Yeah.
But if there's an alien species that thinks at the speed of light and can kind of bend space to, instead of going on a billion light year journey, you can manipulate space-time where you just like take a shortcut, if you will.
Yeah.
But that's
the web way.
Exactly. That's so far beyond how people are at like a base level that to comprehend something like that, we're dismissive.
Well, you would step out of human. Like you wouldn't be like if you were to pick 10 people off the street and one of those 10 people is able to wrap their head around that concept and experience it, they would, it's like the whole Plato's cave thing. Like once you realize that all that we're experiencing here, all of your physical sensations is just the shadow on the wall, you turn around, you walk outside and you see the sun, you go back down and into the cave to your fellow people and tell them about the fact that none of this is real, they'll go, "You're fucking what?"
Then we stone him to death.
Then we'll kill them like they did in the true story. And so, yeah, I think that part of being human is to be able to break free of your restraints.
Yeah.
But part of being human is to be bound by those
yeah.
restraints. And so you can break free of what holds you back, but in doing so, lose your humanity.
To tie this in to the beginning, where we are not just like three-dimensional beings. The fourth dimension being something that is intangible to us right now.
Time.
That, I think, is being human. Recognizing that we are not just physical animals. Like a dog or a cat will not think anywhere beyond, I need a place to be enriched, to sleep, and to eat, and to drink.
You've talked to a lot of them, huh?
Yeah, they're pretty easy to figure out.
Maybe, but they also do things like run away from the coast before an earthquake happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like in the human society right now, we are in between those extremes of like the natural instinct of animals and the hyper intelligence of like our capacity to understand things. We are in the middle right now. Maybe in the future we can kind of become the better of both worlds, but we do not think, or we don't have a standard of thought that we are beyond physical things.
Some of us.
But I'll say it's not a unanimous thing where like there's spiritualism, there's religion, who they kind of each subscribe to their own little flavor of it. But I don't even know if she's on the camera right now.
She's grooming.
Are you just taking a bath in front of the people?
We're talking about her. She wants to come hang out.
She's like, I do need food, water, and a place to sleep.
I do.
But
no, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, though.
To go to the beginning and another thing as far as aliens go, and this is just stuff I've heard through sci-fi, but we are carbon-based life forms, right?
Okay. Sure.
Isn't there either a chance of, or I don't know if we've like observed a race that is not carbon-based?
I don't think we
like
have.
Silicon-based, or
No.
it's just theoretical?
Yeah, and it's not really like a good theoretical either.
Right.
It's like, because it's fine, but part of, and again, this is outside of my wheelhouse, but I think part of what makes carbon so good is that it's like not reactive. Like it's
neutral.
Well, it's good at getting other things to where they need to be without like doing anything to those things. Like, and I think silicon is good at that also, but in ways that might not be good for life as we know it, which isn't to say that it's not possible. Anything is possible, but probably not here on Earth.
Yeah.
And probably not here in like our solar system. But beyond that, who's to say? I don't know.
It's crazy to think of the vastness of space and then to limit intelligent life to stuff that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
And I think another standard of like looking for planets that have the possibility to be inhabited, it's off the basis of, is there atmosphere, is there water?
Yeah.
Which to me, I feel like that is our standard, which there could be intelligent life in the universe that is not even relatively close to what we are.
Yeah.
But if that's this is the big thing. If that's the fact of it, where there could be intelligent life that doesn't like align with our idea of intelligence, then would we ever be able to even recognize them as intelligent species if they're not on the same wavelength as us?
It's a good question, and it's. I think AI is going to be really good for that because
it's not human.
It's not
but
human.
It thinks, or it has the ability to think
it's
like you.
Pattern recognition.
Yes.
and that I think is like the baseline is memory, recall, and the ability to correlate patterns together. From that probably emerges intelligence.
So yeah, is that a good basis for intelligence? Is pattern, either the presence of pattern or pattern recognition?
I don't know.
I feel like it could be.
I like it could be. There are probably people who have like spent their professional career trying to figure this out. And we're touching like really deep concepts in philosophy and stuff. But I mean, probably maybe. I think
We
it's
need an
like
astrophysicist on the podcast.
I don't know if an astrophysicist would have a lot to say on consciousness though.
Who would be
They talk about like rocks,
who would be that type of person?
stuff. Michael Levin would be really good.
I don't know him.
Yeah.
Michael Levin, if you're if you're watching this video, come on over.
Nah, he's doing like he's busy doing like
he's
work.
doing.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Come on
who's-
over to my basement and
Yeah.
talk to a bunch of strangers.
He might do a podcast, like a video cast kind of thing. Because what he talks about a lot is like, for a long time we've understood our genome to be like blueprints, but they're not. They're not really blueprints at all. It's better to think of it as they are like software. So, so he can do something where he'll take like some mesh and it has different like voltages or whatever, and use that to tell the cells themselves, kind of a fun thing to say, what to be. Because you think of it this way, like I was saying earlier, we're biochemical machines. Not really, but kind of.
Close enough.
And so if you can simulate the type of environment that a cell would look for to be an eye, right? Okay. So if you're an eye cell, that means that you're probably next to like a
Nose cell.
tissue cell, whatever. Yeah, you got the gist.
The neck bone is.
Yep. The neck bone is next to the. I don't know what the actual
Wow, we
words are.
fucking butchered that.
Yeah, not good.
The neck bone. Okay.
I don't think.
Anywho.
I don't think. The.
The shoulder bones connected to the foot bone.
All right, Frankenstein.
Came out a little wrong.
Yeah.
It's a boy.
It's a bone.
Why are ankles coming out of his shoulders?
He's got wings, man. He's a proto-angel.
What terrifying! Yeah, this is a proto angel, but instead of wings, it's fucking feet. Kill me!
It's like somebody found a whale and was like, "Hey, man, that flipper right there, that's some wings, bro." Oh fuck. But we just got super diverted. Michael Levin does like he uses it like he uses the electrical charge to replicate the type of environment a specific type of cell would look for to be.
Right.
So, if I want to grow a nose, I tell the cells that there's supposed to be a nose here, and I do that by overlaying the exact type of electrical signals that it would normally get where there is a nose. Right? It's obviously more complicated than that, but what this allows you to do is to create brand new life forms, never before seen out of existing cells, with totally different types of like goals that they care about, and all of it is just different electrical processes.
Right.
That doesn't make any fucking sense though.
To us.
To us.
Which is why that's a perfect example of like that's how something can happen in the nature of the universe.
Yeah.
But that we, being earthlings, if you will,
Yep.
lack the ability to kind of
Yeah.
guess.
Because almost literally every single thing that we've ever experienced in every single one of our lives, totality, start to finish, every single thing that's ever been aware, has been aware through its lens of senses, which are nothing more than a passive interpretation of the outside world.
Yeah.
So we're like at best 3 layers deep. You're trying to do a Rubik's Cube under 4 different blankets, and one of them is a fat fucking quilt. And you're like, how am I supposed to see the colors, let alone feel the you just can't do it.
And the aliens are like, what are you talking about? Just look at it.
Yeah, just take off your fucking coats, dude.
Now, we're getting towards the end of our time here, but
Yeah.
to end it off, I just had this terrifying thought.
Mm-hmm.
If we, because, the idea of aliens is that it's an intelligent species that evolved this type of technology that made them spacefaring.
Sure.
If we are on the path to being spacefaring and we're the first
Ugh.
and we find other intelligent beings,
Yeah.
it's bad.
It's bad.
Because we, as
It's
humans, we would
bad.
get the ethics to it. We'll be like, well, hey, look, those aren't people, right?
You got a phone?
Yeah, that was Eddie. But we, as people, if we went out into the vast universe and we found like a planet that has gold, and we want the current inhabitants of that planet to mine gold for us, we would do it. And if we had
Is
like
bad.
a conglomerate of like people
Yeah.
that like counseled the spacefaring
Yep.
humankind,
Space Force.
they would be like, again, it would just be politics, which is just so sad.
They'd
But it
s-
would be the politics of, hey, these people aren't people. They're
Yeah.
less than intelligent, so who gives a shit what we do to them?
Or it's y'all fucked up. You can't do that to sentient races. Get the fuck out of there. You got to leave them to their own fucking doodads
Yeah.
now.
But then every now and again, some teenagers would fucking take joyrides on that planet.
You got to come check in on them.
Yeah.
All right, these fuckers fucked up like 100,000 years ago. Let's go see the results now. Oops.
Hey, did we leave a part of our technology on that planet? No, we
Guys,
didn't.
we detected ruptures of space-time. Are they Did they break the atom? They broke the atom. They were they were hunter-gatherers 5,000 years ago, and now they've broken the. Is that debris on the moon?
All right, we
Did they go to the fucking moon?
cut ties to these guys. They're going way too quick.
Yeah.
But that is so viable, and it's terrifying because you think about human society,
I
right?
try not to.
Like, say you go to a hospital,
Yeah.
and you're expecting the top-notch care from these professionals. And
Why
I'm not
would
shitting
you-
on anyone
why
in
would you
healthcare.
expect that?
God bless you. But in your day-to-day, your company, your job, you're like, oh, that's Tim over there. Tim's a fucking idiot. But
Yeah.
somehow he still has a job.
Yeah.
It's like that everywhere.
Average of 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we had spacefaring people,
Yeah.
there'd be one fucking idiot who was like, oh, yeah, I fell in love with an alien species. And next thing you know, they have X-Men on that planet because they have mutant abilities.
They have space AIDS.
And it's because we've done that here. We've had people go to ancient civilizations, white, fucking bored, rich white guys,
Yep.
go to some like stone temple in the middle of South America, shook hands with some people, left, came back, was like,
Where'd
they
everybody
go?
go? All right, let's wrap it up.
yeah. I think this is because we've said a lot of times we're not professionals, but this is a good episode of an example of like, it's good to talk about stuff because once you think about it, you're
Yeah.
like, man, I want to actually learn about this stuff.
And also, you have moments where it's like, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if this was like blah, blah, and then you're like, oh, shit, that sounds so stupid. Did I just say that out loud? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and then someone corrects you, and then you're smarter for it.
And then fail successfully.
Be stupid, and then be less stupid.
Be dumb smartly.
Yes, be dumb smartly.
Be dumb smart.
Be dumb smart.
Be dumb smart.
Don't be smart dumb. Be dumb smart.
Yeah, if you're smart, dumb, no good. Be dumb smart.
an idiot, but I'm not a dummy.
But at least I'm also dumb.
So that has been Herecticality. We'll see if that name sticks with it.
He pronounced it wrong. I'm going to guess not. It was hereticality, not heretica.
Ah, shit.
Horticulture, dude. We're going to be growing plants.
All right. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And
see you next time.
Be dumb smart.
Be dumb. Don't be dumb.
Well.
Don't be smart dumb. Be dumb smart.
Yeah, that. Goodbye.